Welcome back to the Overwatch Open. We're kicking off Group B now with 4 brand new teams and a whole lot more action. Guys, I say action a lot, but really, what else is there in Overwatch?
Action, chaos, ults, hit scan, explosions, fun.
Drama, just good stuff in general. I mean, everything about Overwatch, it's a fun game. You get to follow the players, the teams, and of course, the action in-game.
And healing. Healing was what I was looking for. But yes, action and violence and chaos.
Are you a support player?
Yeah, of course. I have a bias. But I've seen you play some darn good support, too. And actually, while we're on the topic of support, why don't we talk about Cloud9? Because they have great players in all roles. And, you know, I'd just like to highlight the support there because I think they do such a darn good job.
Well, it comes to Cloud9, Adam is certainly a great support, so he will not disappoint you. But talking about Cloud9, this is really interesting to see them here because it's been a long time since we've seen Cloud9 at their full power. There was a moment where Cloud9 was by far one of the best teams in Overwatch. They had a period of dominance, and then they had a series of big events where they didn't do so well. The week after E3, they were at E3, so there was 3 big online tournaments that they underperformed in by their own admission. Then, going into Gamescom, they did not get a good boot camp off. But going into E-League, going into what is going on here today, they got the preparation that they need, and I just want to see what C9's true form is here today.
Yeah, speaking of preparation, I know for a fact that they were actually boot camping at the Logitech, and they were doing that with one of the stronger EU teams. They were partnering with FaZe. They had a great boot camp. They said they've worked a lot on a lot of their issues, but they've always been a team with problems. They just haven't been the same, as EP said, for a long time now.
All right, well, you know what? We actually know a lot about Cloud9. We've seen them since the beginning of the game. The team that we don't know too much about is Method. So, Chris, can you break down Method for us real quick?
Oh, Method. They're going to have a long road ahead of them for this group. There are a lot of great guys. I mean, we're talking about one of the best support players in the game, perhaps, in Rolf. And they have a lot of pub stars, I want to say. Like, they have a lot of guys with a lot of potential. They've done a great job, you know, hitting shots, doing whatever. But as a team, they haven't really come together as much as they could. And they actually boot camped here natively in Atlanta. They were at Battle and Brew. They partnered with Misfits, actually. So they had a better opponent to practice against. I don't know how much that translates to here, but they just don't have the experience. A lot of teams here, I don't know. It's a really, really tough climb to come out of, you know, no experience to this big of a stage. Usually you have a small step up.
Well, here's the interesting thing, though, is that Method on some level does have a lot of experience, at least in terms of online playing Overwatch. They used to be known as One Shot. The problem is that they never have had a point where they've taken the next step. They were the gatekeepers of North America for a very long time. You would see them in weeklies, you'd see them in invite tournaments, but they would always be finishing around like 7th or 8th. They haven't taken that next step. They have gotten a little bit better since being acquired by Method, but going against C9, especially a powered-up C9, that's going to be a tough challenge indeed.
How can this guy see? Am I seeing this right? Like, is there a
I don't know.
screen in front of him? What is going on here?
Well, you know what? I would love to reach inside his head for some answers, but unfortunately all we have is Surefour, although that is pretty lucky for us. So Malik spoke to Surefour a little bit earlier today. Let's hear what both of them had to say.
Surefour, how you doing today, man? Last time we saw you guys was at the the monthly melee, and you guys were able to pull out a tough one there. What's the mindset though going into the Overwatch Open?
Well, of course, since it's a lot more money than a small tournament like that, everyone's ready. We got a boot camp about 2 weeks before for about a week and a half, so a lot of practice and a lot different mindset going in.
I've heard about this boot camp. I heard it was a pretty rigorous one. Wasn't it like 8-hour plus days?
Yep. And we were boot camping with FaZe.
Oh, wow. The FaZe, who, you know, they're in the European bracket as well, so that's a team you could potentially end up facing off against.
It'll only be at the end, if it ever is.
All right. So let's focus on who you're going against next. You guys got Method coming up today. What is the mindset or the game plan that you guys have going into this match?
Probably just do what we're doing against everyone else in scrims. We have a pretty good standard comp that's working out pretty well, and we haven't really lost a Method ever in any tournament, so we're pretty confident going into this one.
Excellent, man. Are there any players on that team, though, that you kind of look at and go, we got to watch out for them?
Rolf is always, he's known as one of the best Zenyatas. Apparently someone told me he's known as the Seagull Killer as Zenyatta, so he's one to look for.
You seem very chill and ready and relaxed and ready to get into this match, so thank you very much for your time. And on that note, we're going to send it back to the desk. Take it away, guys.
Wow, Surefour looks great. He really seems ready for this match. A little bit of a change up there.
Great minds think alike. I point out the FaZe thing, he says the FaZe thing. I say Rolf is one of the best supports, he says Rolf. This is why he picked me.
Well, let's see what they have to say about maps. How about that, Chris?
Yeah, I'm ready for it. It'd be a really interesting series. I hope to see a little bit of difference. And actually, these are completely new maps.
okay.
I'm very excited about this. First map, Lijiang Tower, the first King of the Hill we're gonna have. And then even after that, it could get a little crazy, ZP.
So we not only do we have 2 control maps going in here, but Eichenwald has appeared, and this is a case we want to talk about the idea where if you're an underdog and you want to try and catch a team off guard, maybe you do go to Eichenwald. However, a lot of teams have been practicing Eichenwald, so I wouldn't necessarily expect C9 to be unprepared here, but if you're coming from the perspective of Method, say Lijiang doesn't go well for you to start things out, I think they still might hedge their bets on Eichenwald, just because it's also a different game type as well.
All right, well, let's check in with our casters, see what they think of this map lineup. Guys, you're finally going to cast one of those control point maps, so this is going to go back and forth a lot. Are you ready for this action?
I think only time will tell, but I'm glad, again, we're going to be seeing all of these different map types. I'm super excited. I mean, coming into this tournament, we thought it would be only maybe a sort of limited map pool, but certainly also limited hero picks. We thought like the 3-3 or the 4-2 or whatever, and it's been all over the place.
Dude, it's perfect. I was just complaining about this in the green room, right? You know, like, why can't we see a King of the Hill? I was asking ZP, like, ZP, why don't they pick? Well, here we go, Anders.
Yeah.
You know what? I bet you Surefour was at the door. He's like, you know what? I like that Semmler guy. We'll go ahead and do some King of the Hill.
He was eavesdropping on us. Our privacy has been violated.
I'm perfectly fine with this in this case.
Well, Semmler got his wish. Anders, I hope you're ready to go along for this ride because these maps are going to be thrilling. Guys, as we get into this matchup, do you have any predictions here?
I gotta go with Cloud9. Surefour is my guy. Pick me for Team Canada. Not only that, I think they're a great group of guys. Yeah, C9.
Yeah, you've played a lot with them, right? Pretty confident in their skills?
Yeah, I think they got this.
Cloud9, no hesitation. They should win this on every level of the game. I think it's going to be a very rough road for Method if they bring this back, but it would be super exciting if they did.
All right, well, we're going to find out very, very soon if Method can do it as we get into the action with Semmler and Anders.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Here, the first map coming up is going to be Lijiang Tower, and we're certainly ready here. It's Group B, and it's between Cloud9 and Method.
Exactly. We're going to be getting onto Lijiang Tower, and it is, like we were saying on the desk segment, right? King of the Hill, yes, it's going to be the control point, straight control point, all-out battle, all-out brawl. And these are very close quarter kinds of maps as well. Not a whole lot of room to work with. You're getting right into the fight, and you tend to see some more aggressive comps because of that. And so, to kick things off, both teams on the offense, just want to point that out as well. There's no offense or defense, no payload. It's both teams just going to clash over that tower there.
Yeah, 2 Tracers early on. I'm definitely not surprised. That has been really popular on King of the Hill for a long time. We only see one Ana in play, and then we do see the Winston. And again, you're talking about confined spaces. That lightning gun is going to be doing a lot of damage in that space. And then obviously Saria on either team, Kai and Exi. So I'm not surprised that we see Tracer and Saria. I feel like those had to be stable heroes, and Lucio as well as sort of the common theme.
And Rolf going for the Zenyatta, right? So, like, basically, this guy's living up to his reputation at this point. He's like, right, Zenyatta, I'm going to go for the comfort pick.
They actually have identical setups except for Ana and Zenyatta. Those are the only 2. Otherwise, everything is exactly the same. So we're going to see how it's going to go. Point unlocks in 20 seconds. And already, look at the aggression coming out of Chronic. Jumping over with the Winston, trying to take the fight to them and denying them the map control right now. Reaver in the back line on the Reaper, trying to see if he can do a little bit of damage. They're fighting around this corner. Exi picking up the first kill. And that's Surefour going down. A big kill coming in here on the side of Reaver, trying to see if they can continue. Ultima taking down the bet.
I love it. Just calm down now. You made your point, Method. You said we're going to take the fight to you. We're not going to let you dictate the pace. Just don't overextend and throw away the advantage now. And so far, they're doing a pretty good job. I mean, Reaver is actually doing quite a bit of damage so far, just managing to try to follow him up for that ult. But it's all about Method not making the mistake and overextending. That's what it's going to come down to here.
Well, they're dropping the sound barrier, so that's almost a given. Now they have to go. Surefour's also back in the fight as well. Exi coming out with a big ultimate here. They're all getting lined up. Snow getting 2 big kills in and going for a bit more Psycho Waffle out of it. Snow with a 3rd kill here, and Ultima helping out, taking down Surefour. It is still looking decent for Method, and they looks like they are going to hold on to it. They're up to 33% here, and Cloud9, I mean, they need to get back in here.
I mean, actually, that's the sick thing about Winston. Even if he goes down first, right, it starts with the push. he's so quick at getting back into the fight with his boost, and it's such a short cooldown on the boost as well. So he just jumps, and right then, boom, he's back on the point. And so Method able to bolster that defense until they get completely obliterated by Reaver. There's the nano boost into the Death Blossom, and it's just complete and utter destruction here. Method get wiped out, although Snow is doing some good work.
He's really doing good work, actually. Xe as well. Snow picking up even more kills. That looks so great. And Xe taking out Kai. It should have been it. This should have been the thing for Cloud9. That initiation, again, the nano-boosted Reaper into the Reaper ultimate, that was incredibly brutal. He just exploded the other Reaper, and it still wasn't enough.
Yeah, it still wasn't. Actually, it was like 2 kills instantly. And yet, I mean, this is what the power of a very strong Tracer, basically. You can just delay on the point, become a very difficult target to hit, and you have a lot of burst. And so if you run into a squishy target, you can wipe them out. You can take them out quickly and just keep that pressure up. And so far, I mean, Method, they're up to 85% on this point right now. Surefour trying to sneak his way through, but he's going to get shut down. No! Just barely manages to stay alive in time, but it's still even as far as the kills.
Yeah, Ultima actually dropping that ult with almost no health left, and Surefour finally going to be able to do something here. Getting a good kill, looking for a second on Lucio. It's going to be Kai stealing the last hits, but he does a lot of damage, and Surefour still trying to take that fight against the dreaded Rolf there, picking on the Zenyatta. We were warned about this, that he's pretty good at playing against Tracer, but finally Cloud9 have turned the point at 99%, and now it's their turn to try and see if they can defend it here.
And the bet is almost going to get his rage as well, so we will have the 3 ultimates, but there's the first Graviton Surge going down. Method trying to set it up, but Reaver putting a halt to that. Debed, I mean, just big damage coming out here from Cloud9. An excellent defense so far. They aren't even on the point, Method. Finally, Tracer's going to try and put a little bit of pressure here, but Surefour doing such a good job of putting up a defense.
He got taken out so early on in this battle, but now he's given so much space to work with. He's all over the place, just being incredibly hard to deal with. He's got his ultimate up as well. Debet picking up 2 huge kills, a third one coming in. Snow out of the map, and that's going to be a big triple kill. Finally something going back as Grego goes down, but this is still looking a little bit sketchy right now. Cloud9, they're bringing it back in style.
Dude, I don't know how long Surefour has been on fire for, but quite some time at this point, man. He is just doing so much work. And there we go, the setup. The Winston shield's going down, trying to mitigate the damage, but Surefour with the wombo combo gets his ult off, blows up 2. Snow will bring it back by taking out Kai. But still, this is looking good for Cloud9 at this point.
Method, they had the right idea at the beginning to shut Surefour down, but now they just can't contain him. He's just killing people left and right. Rolf going to be taking out the bet. Surefour with more kills coming in, and that's going to be, he's out of control right now. Method needs to find a way to deal with just him, it seems.
I'm really liking this Zenyatta. I mean, Transcendence is huge when you're dealing with the Graviton Surge, when you're dealing with the AoE damage, but also having that Discord Orb. Like, right, you want to go Rage, Winston? Sure, we'll just go ahead and do 30% more damage to you and whittle you down all faster, especially when Surefour is hitting all of his shots. Reaver just takes the fight to him, and Method, they can't catch a break now. Cloud9 have got full control of the situation, it seems.
They played it so well in the beginning, but now they can't even touch the middle of the map before they just drop, and time is out. That's going to be it. Cloud9 winning the first point here on Lijiang Tower. That was really, really impressive. I really think Method did such a good job of giving Surefour almost no opportunities in the beginning, but there was a definite sort of break point in this map where suddenly he got just enough breathing space, and then he took over the whole map.
I'm almost wondering if it's just, Cloud9 a little shocked at how Method were aggressive, Method were at the beginning of the map. Took them a little bit to try and get used to the pace that Method tried to set at the beginning, and then once they got into their groove, you're right. I mean, Surefour just completely took control of the situation. You have him on your screen there. Star performance from him, most certainly. And now we're going into round 2. Different map layout, but still the same concept. Both of these teams are going to be on the offense, battling over that tower in the middle there. And so we'll see. I mean, can Method bounce back? I mean, they had the strong start. They got up to 99%. They can do it again here.
So-called garden stage, and we'll see if this is going to work out. Method, obviously, not going to lose straight away if they lose here, but they really need to hang on right now. Ultima charging on in, doing good damage with the Reaper already, and they're just trading kills immediately. Greco and Chronic going down. Adam to fall, that's a really big kill. Surefour also going down, but just losing the Lucio early on is obviously a big problem. So again, Method, incredibly aggressive very early on here in the fight, and it's working out for them once again. It seems like whenever they're putting the pressure on Cloud9, they're coming out ahead.
Wow, miles ahead. Ultima Webs, man, just going to work right there. Constantly staying in there, not allowing Kai to get back in with his teammates, maybe try and link up with the guys who are rezzing and trying to make their way to the point. No, he just completely cuts that team in half. And now Surefour, once again on the Tracer, getting into that familiar battle versus Snow. Tracer on Tracer.
I'm looking to see if Method are going to continue the aggression or if they're going to go into a defensive mindset, because maybe that defensive mindset is sort of what cost them that bought space for Cloud9 on the first stage. We'll see this time they bet Grego going down and then Chronic to follow, just to try and see if they can make any kind of space. Surefour getting a bit more space to move around with this time, but he's going to go down. Nice win for Snow there.
Sick win. Look at how hard Surefour was working to try and take that guy down. Still could not deal with it. Snow in the end comes out ahead. Now he gets to chime in. He gets to do the damage with this team. They're up to 39% on the point. Snow still has his bomb. Have to see if he's going to be able to find the opportunity here to drop it as the Transcendence goes down, and he is finally going to get caught by Grego.
Oh no, but Xe used his ultimate and Snow was dead, so there wasn't the wombo combo potential. That means Cloud9 now in a good position to turn this around, see if they can do it. Xe going to be dropped as well. They are trying to keep it alive for a little bit, but it looks like it will be turned here. Shouldn't be possible, I think, for Method to keep this alive for too much longer. There's the turn at 61%. So now we've got a real fight on our hands. I think the fact that Xe and Snow wanted to combo, and then Snow just died right as Xe popped the ult.
Yeah, definitely. It does take exactly the Zarya ult. Graviton Surge not instant, right? It takes a little bit of time for it to travel to its targeted location. Maybe that threw off the timing. Just really sick save there coming in from Rolf, basically. Or not from Rolf, from Grego, but one of the Zenyatas.
The engagement happening there. I think he's trying to force them off the edge with the Graviton Surge, because you can definitely do that, just pull people into the abyss. Not quite working this time. Xe will be going down, look like suicide, and it's Surefour picking up Snow, so this time he gets the better of the Tracer battle. Psycho Waffle out of it. Ultimate is down as well, and Cloud9 cleaning up every single member of Method here.
And now that it's Cloud9 setting the pace, they're the ones who are dictating when Method will res. Method being patient, I mean, they do have that going for them right now. They still have quite a bit of time. 50% has just ticked over for Cloud9 on the point. And so Method, they can take the time to wait for the res, to group up, to start working together as a unit, because I think that's going to be key at this point. If they start running in one at a time, Cloud9 are just going to tear them to shreds.
Well, now they're taking a fight on top of the double sound barrier here, just trying to see who can come out on top. There's a great pulse bomb. Gets rid of the Lucio on the other team, and now Surefour doing even more damage, fighting the Zenyatta, and also the Winston going to be just a little bit careful, but Rolf goes down. He's trying to follow it up on Snow, chasing him, and he's going to be successful. Surefour doing even more work. They're up to 70% on the Cloud9 team, and actually Method are going to be catching up on their side too, and Surefour has to fall back.
Yeah, he's got to be careful, doesn't want to overextend. There is the heal pack there though, so he will be able to get back up to full. And now he can set himself up to try to get that flank. Put a little bit of pressure on the back door here for the point. But he's got his bomb once again. I mean, it's so quick. Tracer generates her ulti so quickly, it's nuts. But the setup, are we going to get anybody just falling to their deaths here? Might happen. It doesn't look like it this time around, but now the wombo combo. And Surefour with one kill.
Well, it was just Method using their Graviton Surge, and now it's Cloud9 instead, and look how they clean up behind it. It's 99% for Method, so if they can just get this overtime and run down, they're going to win it, but now the counter cap is coming in, 70%, and they're going to turn the point in their favor. Cloud9, they practically did this to them on the first stage, and they're looking to see if they can win it back here. This is not going to be easy, I think, for Method to get back in. Look at Greco, he's got his ult, and so has Reaver.
And I mean, the important thing is that Adam and Devitt aren't far either. And well, we see how fast Surefour can, generate his ulti as well. And so Cloud9 right now, they are looking pretty good. Snow at 90% on his, and Psycho Waffle about to have his audio wave. So we'll see if they can actually manage to pull this off. But they're Reaver not really finding anything with his Blossom.
See if he can make it work. If he can take out Zarya, that would be huge. Rolf going to be going down here. Now it's on 99% for both Career and overtime here, trying to see if they can turn the point. And Lucio taking a lot of damage. He's going to be going down on the Method side. And now it's just an all-out battle here. Just no chance for them to really keep up. It's going to be the Winston ult finally expiring. And they're trying to see if they can take down the remaining Method players here. Cloud9, they're holding on to this right now. There's nobody nearby. Can they get here in time? Genji trying to get close, but it's not going to happen. Cloud9, they're going to steal it away both times, both stages here. It's Method getting to 99%, and then they can't hold on to it.
They just can't clinch it. And that could be the confidence as well coming in here from Cloud9. Like Surefour said in the interview going into this, he's like, yeah, we never lost to them. And so, I mean, right, you've always got that to fall back on in the end when it's just like, right, we are the favorite team here. We've never lost against these guys. And so even when it gets up to 99%, Cloud9 are still going to be able to keep that pressure on. They know how to get the job done at this point. And so another big win for them, but this is best of 5 in this kind of format here on this map. And so Cloud9 still need to pick up one round here to be able to close the first map in this series.
Yeah, first team to get the 3 points, in case you're wondering. And so far, Cloud9 are on 2, so if they take any more points, then that is going to be it. We're opening up here and trying to see if we can get into the middle, and I'm curious to see how this is going to play out. Very similar setups. In fact, there seems to be almost no change here. Grego still playing on Ana. We'll see if that's going to be effective. We haven't seen many super big nano boosts come out yet.
No, we haven't, but this has certainly been some exciting play. Exy, he is going to get charged up about half, so he is actually going to be able to do a little bit of damage. Has to keep an eye on his teammates there for the shield, but he eventually hunts down Surefour. And once again, Method, they do look like they're off to a decent start, although I do believe it's not everybody here. A couple of them have died, so they're running back. And this actually forces Method off the point due to losing people early on. It allows Cloud9 to get the cap first.
Kai still fairly charged up to 92% on Saria here, so he's going to be dishing out a lot of damage. And the clock, or the percentage taking in favor of Cloud9 at the moment, up to 12%, 13 just keeps going. Reaver picking up 2 big kills, and Method trying to get back in here. A pulse bomb entirely wasted by Snow then, not really connecting. And right now he's just trying to stay alive, and I almost wish he'd just sort of go back to his team and group up with them. And then the ultimate up for Kai, that's going to be big.
Exactly, but he's got plenty of ultis. They can go for the wombo combo. Surefour's got his bomb as well. So if he gets the proper Graviton, the opportunity here, Kai, I mean, they even have Death Blossom on Reaver. But there it is. The Graviton comes out. Surefour might be getting into position, trying to start it off, and he will eventually get 1 kill, but he still has his nuke. He still has his bomb. And, well, obviously, Reaver just going to be doing massive amounts of damage here.
Here we see the nano boost. We had it on the first point. He only really takes 1 down before Rolf takes care of him, so it's still doable here for Method if they can get back in and do something. Now that Kai doesn't have his ultimate anymore, it's definitely a possibility. There's a good kill from Chronic taking down Kai. Surefour going to go down to Exy, and maybe Method are turning this. They're getting all the kills now. Very patient play.
This is sick from them. It's almost like a dry run, basically. They ran in there, they baited out all of the Cloud9 ults, and then look at this, they still have 4 ultimates. Method's soon to have 5 if Snow manages to hit a couple of shots. He can farm up to get his bomb pretty soon as well.
I think they realized as soon as the nano boosted Reaper didn't work, they thought, all right, now is our chance to really turn this around, and that was definitely true. We'll see if they can actually keep on to it here. They're up to 19%, and Exy here, he's got his ultimate ready. Doesn't feel the need to use it just yet. Good blast there. Surefour almost going down, and then the sound barrier to keep everybody alive here. Are they going to follow it up with an ultimate? They got the health and they got the damage for it. They don't even need it right now.
Exy's just doing tremendous damage now. When you're charged up full on Zara, you're just a beefy DPS. You do so much damage. You can just bully people around, especially when you have your barriers as well. So,
and they got Kai and Surefour with both the ults and Snow and Exy, so we could be seeing just a battle of the wombo combos here.
I mean, there we go. Ult. Who's going to actually connect with it, though? That's the question. And, well, Snow's going to get the double kill. And it looks like Method will come out ahead. 2 kills, 3, and it just snowballs out of control from that point forward. Surefour trying to do what he can to get on that point, trying to contest it a little bit, but it's not going to happen. And Method, once again, with a successful defense. And it pretty much resets everything here. Devin managed to hold on to his ultimate, rather, and now Grego has got Transcendence. So this is a situation where Cloud9 can look to bully Method. It's only Rolf who should have his Transcendence soon, but that's it. That's all they'll have on Method.
They're using that Transcendence very early on, I feel like, and the counter Transcendence is also coming out here, so right now they're just trading ultimates, but it's working out great for Method because they're the ones in control of the point, so they're going to be happy about this. Now we see Saria versus Saria, a long fight coming up, especially with Cal and the shields. That pulse bomb a little bit too soon, not quite hitting anything, but there's the follow-up. Look at that. Ultima and Chronic picking up some very great kills, and they're at 99%. I think Cloud9's going to lose this point.
Yeah, this time around, it's not going to happen. Even the emo coming out from Snow, wagging his face like, nope.
I mean, you could have flipped a coin when you have 2 Saria ults and 2 Tracer ults all being popped at the same time. Both teams doing the same combo, and as you said, it just so happened that Snow got a double kill, and I think that turned the tide so heavily in their favor.
There's Snow, just in case you're wondering.
I think Chris raised a legitimate point. How does he see it's happening?
But he has, it looks like, maybe he was overdoing it a little bit, right, going into the game. He does look like he's created a little bit of a tunnel through the hair now, right? So, still.
Permanent tunnel vision.
I mean, when you're playing Tracer, right? But this is actually a little bit closer than we thought coming into this. It looked like
Yeah, now we're going to be recycling stages here, going back to the garden area. Method looking to equalize. If not, then they're going to lose this first map here to Cloud9. Jumping in, look at that Winston jump all the way back, keeping them away. And once again, it's Method being incredibly aggressive. They just love doing that early on, and it's worked up until this point. We'll see if they can make it work once again. Surefour is doing a fair bit of damage here, looking to kill the Reaper as well if he can. He's taking 2 fights at 2 different angles, a little bit tricky for him. And it looks like now the point is open. Who's going to be capping it? Finally, Method are on it.
And this duel that's going on right now between Surefour and Rolf, like Rolf just refuses to die. Finally, Surefour's going to track him down. And in the meantime, on the point, Kai doing work. 2 kills for him. Reaver comes in and picks up one of his own. And this time around, Method just getting completely wiped off the face of the planet. They've done a fantastic job farming up their ults. They will have ults for the next push. But Cloud9, man, they just picked them apart. And that I think that has a lot to do with Surefour just keeping Rolf so distracted over in the house, not able to support his mate.
No, I think you're exactly right. They spend way too much time worrying about him. They could have capped the point before at least. Now it's going to be a Graviton Surge coming out on top of the double Winston bubble and a Transcendence. So I dare you to figure out who's going to be coming out on top. Surefour trying to take a fight here. He doesn't have the ultimate yet. Looking for a couple of kills, and he's going to backtrack, try and see if he can do a bit more. Kai picking up the double kill, and Debet taking down Rolf, and it's all going in Cloud9's favor here. They're up to 31%, and they're just going to continue to go here.
Yeah, they've got this on lock at this point, and that's the power of the Discord Orb. Even if you go Rage on Winston, you can get melted if you have a couple DPS focusing you down. You're just taking so much damage.
And the ult advantage for Cloud9, the only thing Method have is they're going to get the Saria ult just a little bit before Kai gets his, but everything else is pretty much in Cloud9's favor. So can you really win a fight based off of one Saria ult and nothing to follow it up with?
I like that from Surefour, just looking for that flank. He knows it's got to be coming in. Makes use of the health pack, but there's the rewind. And he's actually going to be able to make it out of here. This is getting a little hairy for himself.
Nice Wraiththorn coming out, and oh, Surefour going to be walking right in. He gets the kill on Ultimate, trying to follow it up on Snow. That's a really big fight being won by just one Tracer, keeping 2 people occupied and buying even more time. And it's time that Method don't have.
That's the majority of the DPS. I mean, if Ultimate Web and Snow are both distracted by this one player, who's actually getting kills on the point? Who's going to be getting something done?
Exy has the ult, Rolf has the ult as well. There's the one coming out from Cloud9, and the follow-up bomb. Surefour picking up one. Transcendence coming out immediately afterwards, and actually they're doing a good job right now. Method, Snow picking up a kill on Kai. Surefour still alive right now. They haven't turned the point. It's 99%, and now we're going to go into overtime. Actually, they finally turned it just at the second. I thought Surefour would get there to block it, but he didn't.
No, that's so painful for Surefour. Just because he had the blink on cooldown, and I bet you he's just sitting there spamming blink, and it comes up just a half second too late, and he's not able to get on the point and defend it. So, well, I mean, I think Cloud9 have got to be feeling pretty good about themselves. They have the 2 support ults. There's the Transcendence from Grego to break open the bridge, but they still have the sound barrier, and Surefour, he's got his bomb. So let's see, can they actually manage to get in here, or no? They're just going to get completely clotheslined.
Oh, I think Kai got knocked off from Chronic there. Into the abyss you go. Now Method, they get a chance for a revenge here. They could do what Cloud9 did to them earlier.
So this is a little bit tricky. This is going to get interesting because Grego, then that means Transcendence is completely wasted. So, yeah, Surefour's going to try and get in here into the back line, put some pressure on, not let things get too easy. He even comes back, he manages to pick up the sound barrier, so he can go a little bit tank if he wants, try and get in there.
Very intelligent play from Surefour, and great communication. Takes down Rolf, goes for a bit more. He's still got the bomb ready. He's got his ultimate up. He's going to backtrack into it, trying to see if he can get the kill on Reaper here, but Snow picking up 3 big kills. And every time that just leaves Surefour alone, it's really tough. He's doing a lot of damage, but it's all to separate targets, and nobody from his team can follow up on it.
It's just huge. That's a huge barrier basically going down by Psycho Waffle. And that's also just a huge name, like Psycho Waffle.
Yes.
Sick name.
You obviously have to appreciate that.
Psycho Waffle with the sound barrier. Alright, well, he manages to pull that off. That sets it up nicely for his team, and now Ultimate Web looking for the big plays. Not quite gonna fight it. Instead, Reaper with the 2 kills.
Yeah, and that was actually Reaper versus Reaper ult, so just Ultimate coming out a little bit on top. Going for more. Surefour going to be going down, and in the Wraiththorn here, that Winston ult, not going to do too much to him just yet. He's on 28 HP, and finally he goes down. But think about how long he kept the map occupied there. It's now 99% for either team, and they're going to have a really long fight here to try and see if they can stay alive. They're going to lose the Lucio there on the Method side, and maybe Cloud9, have they turned it long enough here?
Yeah, I mean, they're not close enough. They need to actually try and push around this corner. There's no time to waste, and you can see Kai, I mean, doing a fairly good job of creating some space as Eggsy tries to run onto the site, but it's not going to be enough. There are just too many players here for Cloud9 alive, and D-Bet still alive to try and get some of that split damage, that cleave going. Chronic gets locked down, and it's just not going to happen for Method. Cloud9 will pick up map 1.
That's a painful loss for Method. I mean, you think about it, three of these 4 stages that we just watched, they had up to 99%, and they could have made it. But it's really tough when you have to run in one at a time. That's obviously the problem with losing one of the last fights at a stage like this, is you, instead of regrouping, you don't have time for it. You just have to run in one at a time and hope that someone wins a really big 1vx.
Oh, yeah, are you going to have somebody who's just going to survive long enough for your teammates to rotate in? I don't know, like get the May, get the Diva, something like that, just to stall characters. But you're so far away as well.
Really, really tricky stuff, but we are obviously going to be heading into the second map, and hope you guys are definitely ready for it. Before we get there, don't forget about the Bleacher Report. Download the Team Stream, the free app from Bleacher Report, and follow the eSports stream for all the latest E-League and eSports news. You see the little graphic there on your screen to guide you through it. Definitely go and do that.
Yeah, go and check it out. Keep up to date. Because, I mean, I think at this point, you know, you actually need an app to help you keep track of things, because it's just so chaotic sometimes that it's just like, actually the app is going to just tell you what's going on. I don't know.
There is, I mean, if you're a fan of multiple different esports and you're trying to sort of keep up with the progress of you know, certain teams across sort of all the different ones, Cloud9's a good example. They have teams in all different games, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're trying to keep up with all the different Cloud9 rosters, you probably are going to need just a little bit of help.
Yeah, anything at that point. Although, I mean, that was like, glad that we got to see that replay from Chronic. It wasn't super clear, obviously, when it was happening in the heat of the moment in the match, but he basically just, you know, slapped 4 people off of a bridge. Like, okay then, man, that's about as good as that ultimate gets. That's a feel-good moment for a Winston player.
And it's the perfect map for it, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, there are some of these sort of King of the Hill maps where it's Pharah who's sort of the king of it. Because of the concussive blast, you can blast people off the edge as well. But on this one, I could see why Winston would be quite powerful in that sense. And you saw they try to do it with the Graviton Surge as well. You put it near the edge of the map, and sometimes people get dragged over the edge. It's not too bad.
With no way back on, right? No way back.
My other favorite way of getting people to sort of, you know, exit the map that way is obviously through Symmetra, but it only works on your own team. That's a real shame. You put the teleport right at the edge, teammates walk through and just keep walking.
You're a horrible person.
I know.
That is actually a horrible thing to do.
Yeah, but also hilarious, obviously. It works both ways. People just can't appreciate it because it's happening to them, but it is actually funny.
Is it like, so, I would like to see, actually. All right, so we just got it, guys. Nepal is going to be the next map. And so, if you wanted King of the Hill, you're going to get King of the Hill. Back-to-back King of the Hill action. Yes, please. Thank you very much.
So, a bit of a switch up from Group A, where we didn't have any of them. I think Nepal was in the map pool for our first game, which was Envy, and they were playing Splyce. I think that was in it. It just didn't get picked. We didn't get to the third map, but this time it's a bit of a switch up.
Well, we'll see. I mean, it's been very clear-cut matches most of the day. If you're just tuning in, it's been a lot of 2-0s so far in the group stage. So I mean, we could see if Method can show us some fight. I mean, the desk going into this match definitely made it sound like Cloud9. They're kind of like that EnvyUs-style team in the group. At least you clearly expect them to go forward, to move deep into the bracket. And so Method definitely have their backs to the wall here. But they've already shown us that they can put up a fight, right? This wasn't a clear-cut, just straight win for Cloud9.
And I mean, I think what's so fun about these King of the Hill maps compared to the payload map style that we've been mostly playing at so far, all the hybrid maps, is basically just how different the game plays when you're King of the Hill. You know, you see on the payload how every team will try and reset, get the full team up, then they go for the next stage in the push. And, you know, if you lose a couple of players, you just wait for them to get back up. Okay, the Hill, it very quickly turns into just an endless battle where people just fighting all over the place. I mean, you can reset once or twice, but once the other team gets close to, you know, 80+%, you really, really need to win a big fight then, and you just got to keep going.
What's also interesting is the fact that Ana just doesn't get picked in these King of the Hill sort of scenarios. I mean, Cloud9 started out with Ana at the very beginning and then quickly swapped back into Zenyatta, right? The match Rolf on the other side on Method.
I think we saw a couple of nano boosts, and 2 of them were on a Reaper, and we saw, I think, one or two on Winston, but nothing like the effect that it had when we were watching the sort of the 3-3 meta earlier on, when you could tell the whole team fights were won based off that nano boost. Now, and I think it has to do with not having time for the setup. There's no space to find. Just look at how Snow and Surefour have been playing as Tracers. They are all the time attacking somebody on your team. So to get that space where you're thinking, well, okay, you know, let's just set up, you've got the ult, everyone's ready, let's do the nano boost. You know, when you're trying to have that conversation, nice and peacefully, you know, suddenly Tracer's just there shooting at you all the time. It's
GPU lasers.
And this is the stage that I was talking about on Nepal, where I kind of hope we're going to see a Pharah, but none have been picked up so far.
No, but Reaver is going to go for the Roadhog. And I know that makes you giggle.
I'll take that one.
You're the horrible kind of person as well who stands on the ledge over the pit and tries to hook people into it. So we'll see if Reaver actually goes for it or not.
Such a good mechanic to use. Again, that gap there could really help out. And Cloud9 actually going up to the high ground here. It's going to be Chronic jumping in on the other side. He's going to get hooked, but not into the pit just yet. He's dropping very low on health and has to try and escape here as Reaver picks up Snow. Great kill coming for, and Surefour actually picking up the kill on Ultima.
Yeah, and you can see Cloud9 changing it up because they've gone for the 3 tank and the Ana, right? And they feel like they've got enough space to work with. You can tell Method, they're struggling to actually pick up kills, although Exy is doing some good work. He finds Surefour in the end. This still should set up Cloud9 to at least have a presence here on the point. And now Reinhardt's back into the fight as well, so you have the barrier. He's getting bubbled by Zarya, by the Zarya as well. And so Cloud9, they are setting up for that Ana ult. And Grego, there you go. Ding, 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 he's got it.
They're having a really hard time turning this point, but finally it goes in the way of Method. But for how long? They're losing everyone right afterwards. So they held on to it only long enough to then lose it, and 2 people into the pit they go.
And Psycho Waffle eventually dies as well. Thought that maybe he might be able to skate his way back up, but
or maybe just stay out of the fight for the rest of it. Just let his team fight, you know, 5 versus 6. And
he's just skating. You know, some say that he's still skating to this day. I feel like oh, well, here we go, the beginning, and there's the ult going down. Kai trying to do the damage, and he's fully charged up, so he's going to be doing some sick DPS right now.
Yeah, and he's got plenty of health as well. Going to be falling back. It's about a quarter of the way in favor of Cloud9 here. Method only got the first 9% a couple of seconds in. They were off, and there's the ultimate, in fact, coming out from Roadhog, and that's great at pushing people off, but not going to be this time. Instead, Method going to turn it back, and no team seemed to be able to really hold it for as long as they were on the other map.
And now is this where Cloud9 fully switch it up? Because Ana is gone. Ultima Whip pulls the trap on the bed. That was sick. Gets the flank and just annihilates him. But Cloud9 have changed up their strat, and yeah, they're fully changing it up now. We're going into that 2-2-2 setup, where Grego, he's gone back to the Zenyatta. Adam, of course, staying on the Lucio, but now we have the McCree at play on Reaver, and Surefour, I mean, we've all seen what he can do on the Tracer, so we'll have to see if he can continue doing that here.
I wonder what's that's going to go to Snow's Tracer, if that McCree is going to be able to take him out or not. Debet going to be going down there, and that was Ultima picking up the kill. Exy following up, and Adam. And it's looking really good at the moment for Method. They're doing a fine job holding on to this right now. There's the flashbang coming in, but you did it on a Zarya instead, so she's just not going to get... Oh my god, a 2-for-1. Greco and Reba out of it.
There we go. And this, again, this is also just the fact that you have Surefour there on that Tracer. He keeps getting onto that point, trying to split the defense, but Exy, he's just completely shutting the door in Cloud9's face right now. He's doing way too much damage.
How did Kai end up using the ultimate on the point when they had just lost pretty much everyone else? I think he must have practically been there alone.
Miscommunication, perhaps. Maybe he got a missed call from a teammate, right?
I think that's...
Or they tried to go for the Wombo combo because Surefour was back there as well.
At 75% for Method, I think that's a really big wasted ult for Sari. I think that could be a pivotal moment in the game here. Reva going to be taking down Exy. That's a big kill. Kai going to be going down, so it'd be harder for him to build the ult. And now Ultimate just charging on through. getting a good kill in, and it's going to be Rolf with 2, in fact, before he goes down. Now we're up to 92%.
Yeah, that was ambitious, because this might actually give Cloud9 a chance to get onto the site. You can see Surefour going to go for the challenge. Oh no! Chronic, he falls off. He tries to get back over there to defend the point, and it's not going to happen. Cloud9, they might have a chance.
What are we just seeing? I can't believe it. Psycho, I think he got pushed up by Adam on the other Lucio. And overtime is in effect here. Cloud9 trying to see if they can turn it, and they will be successful. And that's going to be giving some ugly flashbacks here to Method.
Method are going to be kicking themselves, because I think what their strategy was, they had 10% left on the full cap, and that's when Ultima just decided to charge in. That's when they really tried to go for the fight with Cloud9 to buy as much time as possible. Only problem is, I think they overextended, they got greedy, and then just, you know, 1 kill advantage is all Cloud9 need to start really putting the pressure and pushing onto that point. Sure enough, Cloud9, 60% in climbing, and it's going to start looking a little grim here for Method unless they can come with something big. Surefour, he's just going to be babysitting here. Whoa. That was not pretty, Surefour. Nobody saw that.
He missed it and ends up going down, and now his ult is going to be wildly mistimed with Kaikai's, because that's up right now, and he just used some good kills coming through. Reaver doing a lot of damage, and Kaikai picking up 2 big kills as well, looking for another one. Reaver, nice mid-air headshot, taking down Psycho Waffle on the Lucio, and suddenly Cloud9 are looking great here. And I think that Kaikai and Debet with those 2 ultimates, I think Cloud9 are in a great position to win this. If you look at the ultimates on Method here, it's going to be really tough.
All right, they do have the Dragon Blade up, and they have some instant game potential here, but it's all about the setup at this point. And oh, the instant headshot on his Snow. 6 shot from Reaver, but there's the Dragon Blade. He's got the bubble as well, and the double kill comes in. He could get a 3rd, and that's it. Ultima Web has done it. Completely turned the tide, and this should be Method setting up now for the win, and they will be able to pick up the 1st round. That's that insta-give potential that you can have if the Genji gets in a proper position, right? You're thinking, oh, Snow's down, he doesn't have his bomb. Boom, Dragon Blade shows up, he's cleaving everything.
Yeah, and I mean, so I'm a little bit slow, but I have to assume that that Genji also got shielded from Saria.
Did see that at the beginning.
Yeah, I feel like some of those stuns didn't connect. I think we did see the slam coming through on Reinhardt, so I'm wondering if that shield there, that's really good teamwork anyway, you know, Genji ult into the shield, and then just obviously whenever you get a triple like that right at the end, that's going to be so huge. So Cloud9, they took the 1st map. Here on the 2nd map though, Method taking the 1st point, and they're looking for 3, remember. Yeah, exactly. Best of 5 as far as the rounds are concerned. Method, they came close to throwing it away. Luckily for them, they fight their way back, and so that should get them, you know, to calm down a little bit here and focus on the goal. Snow looking for that flank and basically getting the info for his teammates. I mean, obviously it's gone on long enough for Chronic to feel like he needs to charge in, and he's going to be getting quite a bit of damage in there. Snow trying to help him out, and he might be able to pick up the kill on Reaver, but he doesn't quite clinch it. Be really careful right now. He's fighting pretty much at every which angle, shooting Kaikai in the back even just a little bit. He's got the pulse bomb ready if he can find a good target for it before that heal spawns maybe. Snow just staying alive for so long, but his teammates are only now just catching up to him, and Cloud9 are going to turn the point first. This was Method. Finally, the aggression doesn't work for them. Cloud9, I think they might have even been anticipating it a little bit there. Yeah, they weathered the storm. They did actually manage to get control of that point. And all of that while dealing with Snow. I mean, Snow trying to do the best that he can right now to buy some time for his teammates. The ultimate game right now is very even across the board, it looks like. It's really the 2 Tracers that have their bombs, but apart from that, not a whole lot to work with. Surefour trying to force it a little bit, but they aren't going to take it. Method managed to dodge, and so far, they do get 2 kills here, Method. This could be setting them up to get onto this point. I actually love the way that Surefour set that up. I just hated the execution right afterwards, but the way he went in first in the back line, he was so cool. He didn't shoot anyone, didn't let them know that he was there. I feel like he could have probably bombed someone without them even realizing, but the fact that he shot first meant they were exactly where he was. Now the point is turned the other way. Method are finally onto it here. I'm going to try and see if they can catch up to Cloud9. Look at the ults they have, Method. This is ridiculous. They have almost 6 ults. Yeah, now it's going to get interesting. This is just going to be the big ultimate combo battle and Ultimate Web. Speaking of which, just goes for it, but the Transcendence is there to save him. In the meantime, Debet doing some work, Reaver as well. So this is getting a little hairy. Well, they come back into it. Chronic picking up a 3rd kill there in that streak, taking down KaiKai, and they only hold on to the one Transcendence, but that's still a really good ult to hold on to. And you've got to remember as well, Cloud9 used almost everything, so we could be seeing a fight here where it's KaiKai in the Zarya ult versus Transcendence on Rolf. I wonder who's going to come out on that. They could almost cancel each other out, you know?
This is going to be a little bit tricky. I think Cloud9 is starting to feel the heat. Up to 50% now on the point method. And with how quickly they're generating it doesn't look like Cloud9 are going to be very subtle about this. Straight up the mid, into the Graviton Surge. Manages to pull in 3. That's going to set up the cleave. Surefour will be able to pick up Chronic. But Ultimate Weapon in the meantime, just doing damage, keeping him off this point.
Very good job right now. And again, that Transcendence just almost negates the effect of the Graviton Surge. So it's going to have to be another time for them to make this work. Now, again, KaiKai and Surefour, they seem to be out of sync with the ultimates. It's not that that wombo combo wins every time, but it is a nice thing to be able to rely on. And they just very often don't have it at the same time.
Maybe the comms, what seems to be happening here. I mean, big boom, Snow eventually hunts down KaiKai. Surefour, in the meantime, he's got his. Let's see if he can return the favor. No, he will get shut down. Exy gonna find that kill. And so Method, they're starting to get some control. The sound barrier goes down. That's gonna buy them some time. And Adam, trying to do the best that he can to survive, will eventually get hunted down. Method, 99% and ticking. And that should be the 2nd round going for Method on the map. Not getting robbed this time, not making the mistakes that they made on the first map that allowed Cloud9 to deny them at 99%.
Just absolutely huge. I think the big fight happened right around the time when Method had 6 ultimates up, and they used 5 of them and left the Transcendence, and Cloud9 pretty much used all of their ults except for the KaiKai ult. So just a really, really hard comeback for Cloud9 after that, because they just didn't have enough to reliably take anyone immediately out of that fight. You know, it had to be a long fight, and they didn't have the time for it. 2-0 right now here on the 2nd map for Method.
Yeah, this is just non-stop run and gun battles though, man. On King of the Hill, now I get it. Because this feels like a marathon more than anything, where it's just non-stop pressure and run and gun fighting.
Yeah, I mean, for the players, you know, so just from a sort of fatigue perspective, this is going to be grueling. Just no pause in the action at all here. And again, Method being the more aggressive team right on the point, looking to take the fight here. It unlocks in 9 seconds, and now they're going to go for it. Winston, Reaper trying to follow it up here, and they get the kill on Adam, playing that Lucio. That's a really nice way to start off and see if they can follow it up. Reaper going to be going down. A lot of trading back and forth, and it's Cycle Waddle and Exy on the point trying to hold it, and they're going to cap it in their favor really quick.
Wow, just in the nick of time as well. Cloud9, they were so close to getting onto the point to contest. Not going to happen though, and Exy should get the cleanup kill. Yeah, drops the bet. And so now it's about Method. How aggressive do they want to be? They can try and push up here to hold the choke. And if they do actually hold aggressive, they'll be able to spot a Cloud9 try to take the high ground on the left. They'll be able to just get some early warning, basically, on what Cloud9 have got coming to them.
That 99% Zarya charge, and just the fact that Exy is so good at tracking with the particle cannon, not with the right click, but just the regular left click. Just doing a really, really good job at tracking people with it. So that's really impressive.
Straight through. Can he get the damage though, Exy? This would be a great time for a Graviton. If he can actually power it up, and he will be able to eventually get the ult. Cloud9 though doing a good job of splitting up so he can't get too many targets, but in the meantime, they're getting swatted around like a bunch of flies. Angry Winston feeling the rage, doing the damage. And so far, Cloud9, they haven't quite managed to break the defense.
Exy so patient with the ultimate, and I wonder if it was too much. Initially I was really impressed. I thought he's holding on to it. He's waiting for the optimal time, but then I think he lost just one too many teammates before he pushed it at the end. Otherwise, that could have been a little bit interesting. But they get, you know, 53% before it's turned the other way. We'll see if Cloud9 can hold on to it. They need to if they want a chance of winning this map. Otherwise, Method is going to 3-0 them here.
And we'll get our first 3-map game. Look at this, the damage, but it's all mitigated. It does actually force out the Transcendence, however, and so that kind of forces Cloud9 to pull the trigger. Get that defense going on the point.
Reaver getting a good kill in on the Chronic Winston. Cloud9 gonna hold on to it a little bit more, and they're forcing this fight for a large part of it at this choke point here, which I think is definitely preferable as to letting them in and letting them sort of, you know, swarm the point. I like the fact that Cloud9 is trying to hold on to it.
I mean, Psycho Waffle's got his ult on Method right now, so there is a defensive ult that can go up. That sound barrier could try and get them in, but Cloud9 doing a good job of right away just getting on that high ground. There is going to be a challenge coming out from Chronic, but in the meantime, it's Reaver on the point itself, and he is just barely going to be able to survive. Manages to dodge the Death Blossom, but he will eventually get hunted down. Rolf with the snipe.
If all the ults being used, only the Bet has his left, and see if Method can turn it there. Just one tick away, but Winston supercharged on it. The Bet gonna pick up one kill, looking for more. He swats him, but it's not gonna be enough, and Snow will lone cap the point back in favor of Method. That was an important find. If he had gone down to Winston as well, who knows?
Oh, so much damage. Surprise, and he's looking for the duel with Surefour as well. Surefour not gonna have any of that, backs off. This is where Cloud9 still have a little bit of time to work with here, so they need to take their time, make sure they're grouped. Bit of damage going out, but Snow, not the perfect ult from him. That opens it up for Reaver to start things off strong here for Cloud9. He gets that opening kill. Chronic, Ultimate Web, Psycho Rifle, they're all getting cleaned up. Method, they gotta run back.
Oh no, that's a big couple of kills coming through, especially Kai picking up those 2 shots. He kills the enemy Saria, and now we've got, I mean, almost just one push left for Method. It could be a long one, obviously, if it goes into overtime, but this is going to be rough, I think. They do have 3 ults and building on another couple here, but they don't have Kai's ultimate.
Yeah, these will be delayed ults, basically. I mean, Snow is climbing pretty quickly. But there's the sound barrier coming up from Cloud9, not wasting any time. Adam, he's going to drop it immediately, try and mitigate as much damage as possible. And well, it's not gonna happen. They're just not doing the damage. Reaver is about to get swatted, but he does take Chronic before that happens.
Big kill, we're at 99%, and right now Method is trying to see if they can keep this point alive. Surefour coming in with 2 big kills on the Tracer, taking down Ultimate and Rolf, and they're looking for more. Reaper really doing a good job right here, but it's not quite enough, I think. Method, they're running out of players, and the last one left there, it's gonna be Lucio, and now they're out of time, and that's gonna be the point going in favor of Cloud9. They keep their hopes alive here on map 2. They really had to fight for that.
Yeah, this is wild. Just how close it is. Or point after point as well. You would expect there to be a little bit more dominance coming out from one side or the other, but both of these teams seem very evenly matched at this point.
I mean, just the fact that you can rely on playing, at least as long as you're having a fight on the point, you know you're going to be that close to each other. That in itself really opens up for a different sort of use of heroes. Because there's a lot of other maps where the Winston ult seems to be used more to buy time and to sort of stay alive, right? But here you can actually swat people around in that little arena. Just brutal.
Yeah, and force them off that point. That's the beauty of that Winston thing, is that if you're solo trying to hold on to it and you're constantly getting batted off the point by a Winston, it can be a little tricky. Cloud9, let's see if they can deal with the early aggression coming out from Method once again, or if Method, yeah, well, I was about to say, before I can finish my sentence, Chronic just leaps past us, looking for that backline pressure, and he's actually managing to do a bit of damage here.
Yeah, but look at Cloud9. They're actually straight ignoring that Winston and going for different fights instead. Snow, though, has picked up 2 kills. Ultima on the Reaper, taking down the Bet. And this is all working out beautifully right now for Method. Again, their aggressive style really working out. I do think Cloud9 had actually... They had a sort of an arrangement already to say, just let Chronic jump past with the Winston and we'll take out the supports. It's a decent idea, it just didn't work out this time.
Execution, right? You kind of need to, execute on that if you're actually going to make that your point. But at the same time, I mean, the thing is like the Winston is trying to draw attention to himself. He's like, hey, pay attention to me so that my team has space to work with, right? I'm going to go super dive, right? And Cloud9 are trying to counter that, but they just can't seem to handle the individual scrims, the individual duels. Ultimate Web going to start things off, wins his duel versus Reaper. And Ultimate Web is still alive. He's just doing damage.
Really doing a good job at the moment. Surefour, I think, is trying to see if he could maybe pick someone off here, but again, he's going to have to wait for his teammate and basically just regroup here as they're trying to take out Snow and chasing him down, but not getting the kill, in fact. And we're up to 50% almost for Method here, uncontested by Cloud9.
And also, when it comes to ultimates right now, like Method are way in the lead. Gotta say, Cloud9 will have a couple of them popping pretty soon. Grego nearly has that Transcendence, so I think that's what they're stalling for at this point. Grego, you can see him just trying to snipe, trying to get that ult so that they can go for this push. He's up to 93, he's nearly got it. 3 of his teammates have got it, but it looks like they're gonna pull the trigger. There's the Death Blossom, not quite picking up the kill. It forces the Transcendence, and Grego gets it just in the nick of time to stay alive.
Ultima still picks up the bet in spite of all that health on him, and he's going to go for more. Kai going down. Ultima's playing a really mean Reaper on this stage. See if he can continue. They're up to 80%. It seems like Cloud9, they've sort of run out of energy here. This is rough.
Now they are kind of petering out. 85% now on the point method. This would be a huge win, and this would take it to a third map where we're going to see some, well, a new map. Eichenwald is the third map. So the newest map in the pool, and definitely one of the more interesting ones. But here are the ults coming out, and Snow with the double kill.
Snow getting two, looking for a third as well. He's going to backtrack into the kill, and Adam going to be going down. And now just trying to keep the overtime alive here. Reaver on the point. Wraiththorn, and he still goes down. He comes out of it, and now the Winston trying to stay alive. Actually, Sureforce showing up as well, and suddenly there's a chance that maybe they could turn this around. There's nobody from Method nearby, and that's going to be the point. Counter-cap by Cloud9 just in the last possible moment.
This is getting a little silly. Method, you keep getting up to 99%. You really do need to start locking these maps out when you get up to 99%. You're just missing the 1%, right? 1%. I feel like there's a joke there. All right.
There probably is, but it would almost certainly have to be political. So let's definitely not go there. Sureforce trying to see if he could be a little bit of an Uzians in the background. I wish he would have had his ultimate. That would have been a great pickoff. He could have done it, but still doing a relatively good job. Snow picking up two. See if they can finally take him out. He is being very annoying, and there's the bomb coming out, not quite connecting. And actually, Snow is still taking out people here. How is he alive? It seems like this fight's been going on for so long. Finally, he's going to get hunted down, and Sureforce, the guy to do it.
Oh yeah, Sureforce right now, just keeping that pressure on. And with that Discord orb, he's going to eventually get the kill on Chronic. Now back onto the site. There's the sound barrier going down. But Sureforce with the rewind, just doing everything he can to buy time for his reviving teammates to get back into this fight. And, well, I mean, he did do the best that he could at that point. That was one hell of a hold.
But look at Method. They have such a strong presence on it here. If it ticks on over, if Cloud9 can't keep it alive, then that's going to be it. We're going to go to map 3. And 2 big kills there for Ultimate, and there's nothing Cloud9 can do. What a big win for Method. I mean, right at the beginning of this best of 3, it looked like Cloud9 were just way better, but Method, they've woken up, they've stuck to their aggressive style, and it's been working out for them.
This is fascinating.
Big monkey, bro. Big monkey, bro.
I'm just listening to the Cobbs at this point.
I mean, yeah, I wonder what the analysts think about this one, because obviously, that's going to be very, very interesting. In fact, we finally get to see all 3 maps, but also that Method are showing such a lot of promise. And it wasn't even a change of game styles. We were playing King of the Hill on both maps, so it's not even that. It's just Method, you know, waking up a little bit.
Individual plays, Snow just going ham. And while play the game up as well, Chronic, I mean, Chronic didn't work with this Winston. He's just so good at keeping their face, keeping that pressure on. And is it more of the knockout? Yeah, it is. Okay, there's one. Does he get another? No. This is one of those like matchmaking plays of the games. Okay, there. Eventually he finally gets one.
Very interesting. So that's going to tie up the scoreline here in the best of 3 at 1-1, which means we're going to map 3, which is Eichenwald.
Yeah, and another one of those hybrid maps. Basically where it's going to come down to 1 point at the beginning. You have to cap, and then you push the payload. Teams have been expressing some frustration on. I mean, it's a new map, and so they still have to put a lot of work into it as far as like how to figure out, right, like how you need to play the map. But it comes down to ult management and also sacrificing ults to change up your rosters, right, to go for the hero switches. Because this map kind of has like all of the elements, all the mechanical elements of Overwatch in it almost. It's just like, here, have everything. And so it's forcing the teams to be very quick on their feet. And yeah, still waiting to see. I think we just need to see a whole lot more played of the map to really get a feel for it just yet. But the team's still a little confused.
Yeah, that could well mean that we could see some mistakes. I'm really looking forward to how they're going to try and position themselves and how much work they will have put in. So it's also one of the things where if that's the case, then it only takes one team or even just one player and one team to have figured out like a good little trick, and then, you know, it can really work out in their favor. So I'd be interested to see how this is going to play out for sure. I couldn't even tell you right now. Going into this, I thought Cloud9 would be the stronger team. Now I'm open to suggestions here. I feel like Snow has been playing a really good Tracer so far.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure to watch as well for sure. For like the battle, the ongoing duel between the two of them, and it just kind of feels like, all right, well, we're fighting. The rest of the team's going at it on their side.
I mean, I also definitely think Cloud9 had trouble. Oh, that is a good comparison. I like that. That's close by, actually.
That's actually not too shabby, yeah. Now just ask him how he's going or how he's doing.
No, but look, I think Cloud9 was suffering a little bit from not being able to combine the Zarya ultimate, the Graviton Surge, with any other big ultimate. I mean, it could have been Surefour's Pulse Bomb, but it could have been anything else. Like, I feel like they were always out of sync in some weird way.
But you know what happened? I think that, that method, they found the solution, right? And it's always the same one. They turned it off, and then they turned it on again. And it worked for the second map. Clearly there was something not working out quite right on that first map. See? IT squad, right? Off and on again. No? No.
I'm just going to leave you with this.
Whip you with my tie. Thanks, Anders.
Yeah, I could have kept that going for like 30 more seconds. Yeah, so, I mean, but that showed the mistiming between the ults and the sort of the lack of combo play between some of the big combos that are possible. I think it's also just a feature of the game mode. I think it's King of the Hill that does that to Cloud9. I don't think it's that they don't know how to do it or don't understand that that's like a good win. I just think it's because it's really chaotic when you're playing that King of the Hill mode. So I suspect it'll be different here when we've got the hybrid one. Eichenwald.
Eichenwald, I know. How would you say this in Danish?
You wouldn't. So, I mean, Danish is a Germanic language, so
yes.
you'd think that it would be. But this particular word, it would be tricky to say.
Allow me to, but that's the thing. Allow me to indulge my American side, right? Because European languages, they all sound the same anyway. So that Eichenwald.
Yeah, I was in Italy once, and someone said they thought Danish sounded just like German. I thought, well,
is that where you proceeded?
How can it be? How can that be?
What was it, Pulsa? That you force feed him Pulsa until he passed out or something? I don't know.
Something like that. Well, that is like a common thing as well. Both Germans and Danish people like, yeah. Listen, well, hold on. We do have on the defensive side initially Method playing here, and that means Cloud9 are going to be on the offensive side. So we'll see how they do on this new map and how much they've been studying. Have they got any sick combos coming out? I see, first of all, that they've got the Mercy up and running on Adam. That's interesting. And a Diva playing, first of all. And a Genji, what are we witnessing?
Yeah, what is this, actually? The Pharah on Reaver as well? Like, okay. So we've got the 3 tanks. Oh, no, we've got the 2 tanks. 2 DPS. It's a 2-2-2, but this is interesting. This is definitely a novel take. And look at this. The skate looking for the big flank. Not quite going to find it, but still, clever play coming in here from Reaver.
Oh, just imagine in a different world if Method had tried to hold this a little bit further up, if they would have been flanked by that. Absolutely incredible. The damage boost is in, and look at the rockets raining down snow out of it already. Reaver doing so much damage and looking for a little bit more. The shield looking the wrong way right now for that Reinhardt, and now finally May going to be getting close, trying to see if he could maybe freeze Reaver, who's being such a hard target to deal with right now. They just can't pick him out of this sky, and he's killing everybody at the moment. Surefour helping out as well with a couple of kills, and this is just, there's no one stopping Reaver. He's just uncontested.
He's damage boosted the entire time. He's just gonna wreck everything. Now he has his ult as well. Can unleash the barrage as soon as the push comes back in. It's not even gonna happen.
What do Method have that can reliably do that? I mean, Winston with the jump in with the lightning could be one, and then obviously the hook. If Method had kept on to the Roadhog, then they could have maybe hooked him out of the sky. But otherwise, it's gonna be a little bit rough.
That's unbelievable, and it just it just backstabs the defense. It just turns it into chaos, and that's not going to help if you're Method at that point.
I guess Snow and McCree would be a good target for it. Hit a couple of good headshots there on that Pharah, and maybe you got something going.
Well, I mean, there we go. Rocket boost. Let's go. Are they going to find anything? What? Reaper just drops out of the sky, has to get out of there. He's barely going to make it out in one piece, but the nano boost comes in, and that's an angry Reinhardt just swinging his hammer at you all day long.
Oh, and then into the shield. He does go down eventually to Chronic, but that actually, or Chronic goes down. That looked like he was about to shield the entire ultimate. That would have been beautiful. Psycho Waffle goes down to the vet, so the payload is going to be pushed on here at this point. Then still such a new map. It's hard to say exactly what a good time is and how much time you should be spending on each stage, but it feels to me like Cloud9 are moving relatively unopposed at this point in time.
Now, there's a lot of high ground as well that they do seem to be getting control of. There we go. The vet just going to chunk himself in there. hope to do some damage. He's actually taking quite a bit of damage. He's got to be careful. He gets wiped out. Now his team a little bit behind on this. Adam does have the Mercy res, though. And we'll see if he decides to pull the trigger on it. He's waiting for the proper time. Another kill coming through would be helpful, but it's not going to happen.
Kai, that's 3 kills with the Diva. That must have been an ultimate. There was one that went way into the sky. Was that really his?
I thought I heard a lot of laughing as well for a second there.
Yeah, but
let's not watch the Mercy.
That went so far up. I'm not sure I understand. It's going to be Chronic and then Ultimate down on the cart now, just trying to see if he can hold on to it and stop them from entering this next stage here. But Cloud9 just getting so many kills that I don't see it working out, even though they're trying to stay alive there. Lucio going to be taken out. Surefour getting a couple of kills in. And now they're going to go on to the final stage. Oh.
Those poor castle doors.
That's a knockout punch right there.
How old are those doors? You vandals.
There'll be someone by to restore it. Don't worry.
But now this gets really chaotic because it's so close quarters here. Nano Boost goes in already, trying to do some damage. And Surefour, he's going to go in with the Dragon Blade. Now's the slice and dice. He's going to be able to pick up 1 and 2. No sleep possible. And this is where it just gets out of control. Although Ultima Web and Eggsy doing as best they can to really bring this back. Big boom.
The Diva ult coming through, not really connecting with anyone. XC here trying to be relevant still, but there's just too many players here for Cloud9, so a big fight. But just like on every other stage of this map, Cloud9 are coming out so massively ahead. Now it's the final stage here in Method. They've got to slow them down more than they currently have. Cloud9 still have 3 minutes and 50 seconds on the clock right here. If they don't stop them, this is going to be hard for them to win, I think. Method are not setting themselves up well, and all they have is Chronic and that Earth Shatter.
I like it, though. Look at this from Cloud9. As soon as they lose their McCree, it's back off time. Whoa, big Earth Shatter drops them all. And that's the setup. Cloud9 now set to do some damage. Reaver, he's going to have the Deadeye soon when he gets back into this fight, but Surefour just going to work.
See, flashbang comes through. Reaver, he is shooting at targets that have been sound barriered, so it's a little bit tricky to get that kill, but a great headshot taking down Ultima. And now they're going to try and push on, and they got the cover with the High Noon in the background. Easy kill on Psycho Waffle, and right now I think Method, they're just sort of running in one at a time, a little bit of space being given with that shield up on the Reinhardt that maybe they can try and congregate behind, but if they don't, then Cloud9 are going to push through here, and Surefour, he has the Death Blossom ready. He's going to jump right in. There's the 1 kill, and he can't get more than that. They actually hold him back.
Yeah, but there's the res. That's what it is all about at that point. Mercy ult. Adam gets the res, and the fight continues, but still, Method seem to have the momentum here. Kai is going to be able to come back and bring in 1 kill at least, and he goes for the ultimate as well. Going to force him out back into the choked corners where the Reinhardt can go to work, but Rolf eventually shuts him down.
Method, I don't know how they did it. It looked like that was going to be awful. I thought actually that Reaper ult was going to take them out, but now they have managed to reset even just a little bit here. And whatever time they can buy on the final point, now, even if they can obviously hold it off, that would be even better. But if they can just buy some more time, that would leave Cloud9 in a slightly worse position here. I love the Genji pick in these close quarters. That Dragon Blade is going to tear people apart.
And the deflect. Just like if you're going for some kind of spray-heavy tactic, what are you going to do if the deflect gets in your face? Not going to be a whole lot of fun, but there's the wall. Maywall buying even more time, and eventually Chronic is going to pick up the kill. Drops the bench. Snow is there, and the Dragon Blade goes in. Just chopping him to shreds, to pieces.
Oh, but not going to win that one. Wraith for him first, and then he tried to go with the deflect. That didn't work either, so good patience from Surefour.
At that point, right, like, does he care? You know, it's just, Snow, he's going for that feel-good moment. He's like, you know what? I think I'm just going to go and get a kill. Because there's 2 guys dead on Cloud9 at that point. He's the only guy who's dead on Method. He knows the rest of his teammates can back him up. And so he'll be back in the fight. And there we go. Big Graviton and Chronic looking for some of that cleave damage. Follow-up Earthshock, and that's how you do it. Shut the door on Cloud9.
It's really impressive of Chronic. They're holding on to the ult for as long as he did. Just used everything else in his arsenal. And finally, he managed to do it. Some good shots coming out. In fact, look at that. Almost manages to take out the Reaper, but not quite going to happen. Now we're down to 55 seconds. And on this final stage, Method finally waking up and deciding they're you know, ready to fight on this map after all.
I'm quite surprised. I mean, it's in these close quarters, they seem to thrive. They're doing a fantastic job. And Reaver not going to be able to get in here. Actually, a little bit of an interesting choice there. Short not going to have the Tracer, probably because he has the Death Blossom as well. Doing good work, but it's not going to happen. There's the wall, and here's the Dragon Blade, and it's nano boosted to boot, and he's just going to completely wreck them. Snow picks up one, eventually gets plowed into the wall, though.
Oh, he actually tries to dodge that just a little bit, but it's not going to be for long. He ends up going down regardless. And Method still holding on. The bet going to be falling now. We're down to 10 seconds. Is there even anybody nearby who can tag this payload so they can keep going? Or is it going to be Method finally putting an end to the Cloud9 madness here? It's a third map as well. They really want to keep this alive. They're trying to get in and get close. Overtime is in effect, and I think they had the Lucio on it. He's still alive, but all the kills are happening in favor of Method. Snow picking up 2, Ultimate with 2 Rolf and Chronic, and that's going to be surely the end of it. Method managed to stop Cloud9 from getting to the final point.
What a defense, what a hold. And Cloud9, man, just could not break through at the end. And that with an interesting opening as well from Cloud9. I mean, it looks like they had done their homework, right? With the clever way that they managed to work their way back onto the first point to cap it, to get that payload moving. Cloud9 show a little bit of their hands saying, okay, we've done our homework. But Method, it's just sick team play, basically, and that Genji going to work all day long. Dragon Blade after Dragon Blade in close quarters. That's the last thing. That's a nightmare if you're a squishy backline player, right?
I mean, there's so many issues on that final stage, you can tell. Genji being one of them, but then they had the Mei up, and that mean that Blizzard was always going to be massive. The Ice Wall too. Then you combo that with Graviton Surge and the Earth Shatter from the Reinhardt. If any one of those 3 ultimates are up at any given time, that close quarter is going to be, you have to be really careful. And we saw how effective that was.
There's so little room to maneuver. It's just like the Reinhardt wall, the Mei wall, the deflect from the Genji even. You know, you get into that tight space. If you're trying to take him out, it's not going to happen. Ooh. Oh. Symmetra? First pick. Interesting. If he sticks with it.
Nothing's gonna stop.
I'm curious about that.
Enough waiting around. Let's get out
I
there.
mean, there must be quite a few places on this map where you could hide a potential teleport. So if you can defend early on some of these points, you're going to be in a great position.
That's clever, right? It's a little bit of an early warning system in case Method try to go for the same play with Ultima Web. There's a little bit of a turret rating, waiting from where they would come through.
It could be even more than that, because what happens to Pharah if she runs out of boost and has already used the jump? Maybe they could just fall to their death. And if Mercy's following along,
if this works,
man, that would be beautiful.
Play of the best of 3. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you'd have to feel outplayed at that point in time. But the rest of these sentries, obviously, just for show. They shouldn't be doing too much, but they are all over the place.
I'm curious to see how this is going to work out now. And this is the other thing, basically, with Symmetra. You're just going to sit there and spam orbs. The orbs do quite a bit of damage. But you're going to hold the angles, just try and slow things up. And we'll see if Method are going to find a way to break through here.
I think they did make it around, so they're going to be in an alright position. 1, 2 rockets being hit, third one going to miss, but Lucio still in some trouble here. Ultima doing a very good job. He's been a really good DPS player so far on all the previous stages. Chronic going to be giving him a kill. Kai going down, and Method seems like they are off to a good start.
Boosted rockets all day long. That's basically what's happening. Somebody put a stop to this guy. He's just completely destroying them. So much damage. And now he's got his ultimate as well. Can go for the barrage at the drop of a hat if he feels like it. May not even be necessary at this point. This is unreal. Oh no, now he's got the height. There we go. There's the barrage, and he's raining death. Ultima Web doing work. Another 2 kills for him.
I feel like Method, when they were playing on the defensive side, they were much quicker to concede this first stage and just fall back. Cloud9 really wanted to fight it, even though they were running in more or less one at a time there to sort of keep that fight going. So I'm not sure it's going to backfire too badly for Cloud9. I mean, they're building some ult. They've already got the nano boost, so that in itself may be on the bet. I think it's going to be the next ult up for them. That could be a great combo in not that long, but Method on their side, they have 4 ults almost. Rolf just 7 seconds away, or 7% away from it. Oh, what a great jump up. You saw them using that trick. That was the rocket jump and boost combo, getting real high up there and getting the kill in.
This is actually some of the most disgusting play. Like, this is prep. This is sick. Ultima Web He's just hard carrying right now, doing so much work. And it's unending. Now he just keeps going. Look at this. He sets the trap. This is perfect.
That was very, very well played. You saw how high he got with that jump all the way in the back, and then the ult taking down one, going for the McCree. He's going to get flashbang, but it's not enough. Surefoot and Reaver, both the DPS players, down for Cloud9. And you're absolutely right. Ultimate Web he just can't be stopped right now. He's playing such a good game.
You can't really stop yourself from just giggling a little bit watching this guy go to work. This is nuts. And Cloud9 can't even make it out of the castle. They can't go anywhere. I mean, they finally managed to sneak their way out, and the McCree trying to go to work, but you know what? Ultimate was like, this is my castle now. I'm gonna head in here and actually take the fight to the back line.
That was a nano boosted Saria, but pretty much after everybody else was already gone, so it's going to be a little bit tricky to hold on to it here. Big ult coming out now, the Graviton Surge, and it's all going in favor of Method. So Cloud9, you're right, trying to get out of that castle. There are only 2 choke points unless you can sort of fry through the hole in the door there, so they get funneled no matter what happens.
This is unbelievable. This guy just can't be stopped. And he's showing us some sick mechanics as well. Let's see, Rocket, not gonna happen. Finally! And Reaver has to go for the ult. He gets a triple. Ultimate weapon though, like the ultimate weapon basically, has been shut down finally.
That was just one hell of a long sequence for him. Stayed alive and hit so many rockets, but now, if you look at the time that's left here, 4 minutes, and Cloud9, remember, did not make it to the end. So if they can just make it past here, Method, Surefoot up to the side. He's got the Death Blossom. He's going to be jumping in, looking for it. They're all hiding around the cart. Is he going to be able to get him? They will. Mercy going down. And now he's going to try and follow it up. Triple kill, quad kill coming through. Surefoot getting everybody. Genji going to fall as well. That's 5 kills happening in favor of Surefoot in a matter of seconds. Very, very close there. They saw that coming. You saw them trying to retreat behind it. And you did also see Mercy trying to sort of fly into the Death Blossom.
And that's perfect though. That's Surefoot. He's just like, where's the Mercy? Oh yeah, there's the Mercy. Mercy, you're dead. Like, he would have probably been happy just getting the Mercy out of that. Just being like, right, no res possible. There's no way you're gonna be able to fight this off. Now we shut you out. And they did not get far with that payload either here, Method. So now they have to deal with the choke points. They have to try and work their way through. And guess what? Yep, there's a Mei. There's gonna be Blizzards. There's gonna be Mei walls. And Reinhardt's still alive as well. This is gonna get tough.
Kai already taking out Rolf. That's a really good start. Surefoot trying to see if he can make his way through and maybe get a kill on someone. He doesn't have the ultimate, the Reflect. Not going to shoot into it. And Genji dropping low and eventually going out as well. Very persistent there from Surefoot, and he's looking for a bit more. They're holding on really well at the moment. Cloud9 here trying to see if they can make it through. Method, these choke points that they were utilizing to keep Cloud9 back, as soon as you get on the other side of that gate, then suddenly they're being used against you. Now you're the one who has to sort of try and get through the same choke points, and it's proving really difficult.
Yeah, this is not easy. Well, we're going to have a little bit of a commando squad here. Might be trying to go through, yeah, the top perhaps. I mean, yes, Genji, if you look through there, you are going to see the enemy. So thanks for the heads up. But still, I mean, look at all the ultimates available to both teams at this point. Method, fully stacked pretty much. They lost Chronic, so they're waiting on him to res before they go for the push. But 5 ultimates ready and waiting for them, including that Mercy res. And so we'll have to see, is Surefoot going to be able to hunt down Mercy again? He's got Death Blossom.
It's interesting that Cloud9 have swapped out of Saria at the end here. Now they've got Mei instead. That Blizzard ultimate, again, close range. We talked about it. Method had it too. Now we're going to go in. There's the ult coming out. Surefoot getting a big kill, but it's Chronic cleaning them up at the moment. Cloud9, not that many people left alive, but they're still doing so much work. Kai picking up the kill and Debet as well. Res trying to see if they can stay alive here. Psycho Waffle being walled out, and they just can't get through here.
Oh no, this is so frustrating. Okay, Ultimate is going to make it worth it. He's going to be able to pick up 2 kills, but he is going to be kicking himself that there just happened to be a chandelier in his face when he went for Barrage. What poor luck for him. Completely wasted on the ult. But he's still trying to do some damage, and they will be able to keep... No, Chronic gets hunted down. No escape. And they're just buying so much time. This is getting to crunch time now. Minute 20 left, and that was the big combo play there. Both teams just using all their ultimates.
Now we got sound barrier versus sound barrier, and the percentage not really almost anything on Method right now, whereas Cloud9 are building way more. Surefour and Reaver both very close to having their ultimates, and Kaikai's, I mean, he's about halfway there, but still, I think this is going to be tricky. I think actually maybe Method can be in a lot of trouble here.
And they're running out of time quickly, and now Reaver's going to be here. He's got the Deadeye to buy even more time, let alone a kill if he wants. He's going to be able to chime in eventually. Should find something here. Cloud9, they are going to hold. 4 kills go their way. Snow's got the ult. He's going to try and get in there with it, and he does get a double kill somehow. Finds a kill on Reinhardt, but the rest of the core right now for Cloud9 are still alive.
Yes, it is, and Snow couldn't follow up on that double kill either. He was on like 1 HP at the end, so he had to go back and get a little bit of healing. Now they're trying for it again. They have 20 seconds here before they'll be in overtime. And Snow going down early on. They really don't have time for this kind of thing. It's Surefour picking up a kill on Chronic. They're running out of players and running out of time here. Method, they played such a good game on offense, but right now Cloud9 are just telling them no.
That's the style Blizzard coming out there. Kaikai just sitting on that for so long, and he finally puts it into the choke point. I mean, we are going to have Ultimate Web going to town with the Dragon Blade, but he only gets the 1 kill, and it's just not going to be good enough here. Cloud9 are going to be able to shut the door on Method. Method basically trying to go for the stall plays, trying to get in here with heroes, and actually doing some damage. Chronic and Snow picking up 2 kills. The vet trying to hold on for as long as he can, but they are getting cleaned up. Cloud9 somehow, they give it up, but they still have time. Look at this. They're going to res and still be able to challenge this point again. And now Method are not allowed to make a single mistake.
We do have 2 ultimates.
Whoa.
We've got Chronic. We could be seeing a nano boosted Winston here if they actually go for it. He could go for the ultimate too. That's worked out well before. Reaver going to be taking down Snow, and that's already a big kill. Cloud9 trying to hold them back. We're real close to the same landmark here. 55 meters. Ultimate picking up a big kill on Reaver, and they're trying to see if they can make it in. The ults have been used on the Method side, trying to see if they can make their way through. Ultimate Web doing so much in close range, taking down Greco. Cloud9, they're falling left and right.
Dude, this is nuts. Look at this guy. Ultimate Web, this is your map. You are doing so much work. And now at crunch time as well, he just can't be stopped. He's keeping their hopes alive. But Cloud9, I mean, the Mei wall, the Mei block, he's buying so much time. Can they make their way out again, Cloud9, or is it not going to happen? It is not. Method with a huge win at the end. Unbelievable.
You gotta think just all hail Ultimate Web at the end there. I mean, just all throughout this map, you're absolutely right. What an incredible performance from him. I can't believe it. And Method come out ahead on Cloud9. There's all 3 maps, and it almost could not have been closer.
I'm stunned. I mean, yeah, Cloud9 are not pleased right now. They're equally stunned, we'll put it that way, but at the result here. But
They're obviously not out. That just means they're gonna play in the losers match. But very interesting beginning, I would say, to Group B right here.
yeah, I mean, this is the first big upset we could say,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's gone 3 maps, it's gone the distance, and Method have put Cloud9 into the loser match. Method will get the chance to battle for first seed now, which would be huge going into the playoffs. And so this is where things get complicated here for Cloud9. They're gonna have to take a step back and reconsider, and well, deal with the pressure now of being, you know, of your tournament life being on the line.
So first time seeing Eichenwald here at the in Atlanta, and I mean honestly, just the differences in the first 2 stages of this map and the final one, that someone's gonna have to sit down and think long and hard about how to make their way through those choke points.
But that it's just the castle is so small as well, it feels like. I thought, actually, I kind of tricked myself where I was like, well, they're going to have time, right? They died, the payload's at the door. It means they're going to have plenty of time to come back and challenge it again. And then the payload's like nearly on the point by the time they res again. It's nuts how quick it goes. So, I mean, just very little room for error once it's in that castle, but still, that choke point.
Unbelievable. Method coming out on top, and I mean those first 2 King of the Hill maps that we saw, Lijiang Tower and Nepal, I mean that was incredible as well. That looked like it could have gone either way. Really, really close fights, and we got to see an incredible change of pace. But then I don't know if it was like a pocket pick coming out from one of these teams. They both seem to have a good idea about how to play the map, but that final stage for both the teams turned out to be incredibly hard.
I mean, it is one of those things, right? The underdog pick maybe, just going for something that they aren't going to be familiar with. Guys, we're going to throw it over to the analysts to break down this incredible best of 3. After this break, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.